Have you ever thought of what happens at the end of Happily Ever After, when the last rose petal is dropped, once the curse has been broken? It is a new page to that ancient epic, one, where Beauty and the Beast find out that love does not stop with magic. It starts with what are you going to do next? Since you open your heart to people and clear space in your heart for all different kinds of stories, even in those sometimes silent and long-forgotten ones, the most beautiful things begin to bloom. Come huddling then, and castle gates are opening again. This time they are on full opening. The days went by kindly to the castle. Seasons fell like ribbons. They poured spring spillage, summer rose music to ears, autumn draping the towers in gold, and snowflakes casting everyone in blankets and candlelit. Beauty and the Prince had fallen into a sort of rhythm in their days, a rhythm composed of kindness, learning, and laughs, now calling themselves Belle and Ben. But even in peace, Belle had a sort of pull at her heartstrings, a pull that whispered, "What shall we do with this grace we have been granted?" Since not all magic entails spells and curses. It can be sometimes to plant something and to see it grow. The Castle School. On one morning, Belle stood in the great hall and said, "I desire that the castle should be open to children, not only on visits, but on learning." Ben added an eyebrow-raising gesture. "And you say to make our castle a school?" Belle nodded, her eyes flashing. "There are such big dreams in the village with so many children. It is time to make them grow." Ben smiled. "And now we will make them a spot to grow in." And that is the exact thing that they did. They opened the gates far. Ben made seats under the apple trees. Belle collected all the books in the castle library and packed them to the baskets that looked like roses. Children came, wondering, staring, inquisitive. They read on the windows, in the courtyard explained in paintings, exercised on how to take care of both plants and animals, and each week Belle instructed them in the stories, not out of books but out of her own memory. Legends of the accused rose, of a lonely beast, of the girl where the heart lay was seen. A stranger. It was one rainy afternoon, and a young girl was standing at the gates of the castle named Elara. She was barefoot, her hair was a mess, and she carried her satchel as a shield. At the door, Belle met her. She said, with a kindly touch of greeting on her lips, "Hello. Would you like to come in?" Elara hesitated. She asked, "Will the others laugh at me?" Belle raised her head. "Not here. Here indeed we see with our hearts only." In went Elara. In the beginning, Elara sat solitary. She did not talk much. She was observing everything as though something would go wrong any time. But Belle allowed her time. One of these days, she gave Elara a notebook as small as a rose leaf with that kind of thing printed on the cover. "You needn't talk," said Belle. "Just write." So Elara wrote. She used pages to draw gardens, to write poems about shadows, and a tale of a girl, though a tower of silence. And gradually, something flowered. The Forgotten Garden one brisk autumn morning, Elara said to Belle, "Do you believe that there are places in the castle one does not visit?" Belle smiled. "On the west side there is a small courtyard, long forgotten. Nobody had been there in years." The eyes of Elara gleamed. "Is it possible to view it?" So Belle conducted her there. The gate creaked open to show shattered stone walks, a snarling vine, and a dried-up fountain. "It's beautiful," said Elara. Belle threw out her head. "Do you want to restore it?" Elara nodded. He and all of the other children together dug weeds and cleared brush. They sowed seeds not only of flowers, but also of ideas. Every child gave something in the ground, a feather, a poem, or a button of a coat. Ben fixed the fountain, and Belle painted signs with such words as, "This is the land of kindness." Speak gently. All stories count. the garden changed into a continuous life. It was not only a garden. Nobody needed to be hypocritical there. Safe under all the scars, and all the silences, and all the differences. Lantern Festival one winter, Belle and Ilara came up with a plan. Ilara said, "What if we had a lantern festival, and in every lantern a hope?" Ben made stands, Belle made paper lanterns, and the children painted dreams on them, wishes that were as soft as I am, hoping that my mother is safe. I would like to bring people to smile. I desire to have a voice. One at a time that night, they lit the lanterns. The heavens were lit with the blazing lights, and Belle, with her hand in Elar, whispered, "Thanks a lot for reminding me that love keeps growing so long as we continue planting it." The saga continues. Years had passed, and now the children were not children anymore, and the halls of the castle were filled with the laughter of others, and the legend of the beast and the beauty had not been only a fairy tale anymore. The forest of kindness had grown out of a seed sown long ago. Ilara turned out to be a storyteller. Others were artists, builders, healers, and teachers. The castle did not close down. It was not only a house, but a heart. And Belle? She still read by the apple tree. She still found petals pressed in those books that she left a long time ago. And every now and then, enough sun would fall on the fountain so that again she could almost see the rose, glowing and limitless, the rose of you whose love began it all. And therefore, the castle did not simply turn into a place where Belle and Ben lived. It turned into a place where stories lived, not quiet ones or loud ones, not messy, not magical or honest. Since they were taught that the strongest form of love is not only the love to rescue. Love is the thing that remains, the love that instructs, receives, repents, and increases. A new story is always beginning somewhere in the castle garden, under the golden statue of the rose. It is beginning ever and again. Perhaps thine even. The end.